What's going on, guys? Welcome to Titan Town for another Tennessee Titans video. Now, the 2019 NFL Draft is going to be in Nashville, and with that being said, I feel like the Tennessee Titans will select at least one in-state prospect for that home state or hometown pride, or however you would like to call it. We have seen this in the past with Kevin Byard and Corey Levin both being on the roster, both being picked by John Robinson, and both picks were made, and John Robinson did bring up the factor of having a little bit of home state pride when making draft picks. So I've put together a list of college prospects who are in-state that the Titans could pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. To start, we'll go with Daniel Bertuzzi from the Tennessee Vols. Now, I am not a Vols fan, but I am a fan of this guy. I actually am not a fan of any college football team. I just watch college players to get an idea of where they're going to go in the draft and what teams they fit with, where the Titans could get them, which guys I want the Titans to draft. Comment and let me know what your college football team is and a player from that team that you would like to see the Titans draft come 2019. But Daniel Bertuzzi does play outside linebacker for the Tennessee Vols. He has a nose for the football. This guy is always around the football, very strong against the run. I feel like if the Titans were to draft him, that would give us a good core of young guys with Daniel Bertuzzi, Rashaan Evans, Harold Landry, Jayon Brown, especially with Wesley Woodyard getting up there in age, Derek Morgan and Brian Orakpo being older and on the last years of their contracts. I feel like Daniel Bertuzzi is not quite as good at rushing the passer as Rashaan Evans, but I do feel like he is better at stopping the run than, than Rashaan Evans. And I feel like Jayon Brown will be the best in coverage. So that gives us a great coverage linebacker, a linebacker who could do some things rushing the passer, a linebacker who's strong against the run, and Harold Landry, who is also a pass rushing specialist. I feel like that would give us a good group of guys. I feel like Daniel Bertuzzi, it's too early to say right now, but I feel like I got about a round 3 grade on him based on what I can remember seeing from him last year. So that would be one guy I would target if I was the Tennessee Titans, if I could get him in the 3rd round. And he does declare for the draft. He is a junior after all, so he could play for one more year with the Vols. But if he does declare, he might be a guy I'd have on my list to target, depending on how he does here in the 2018 season and how he does at the combine and his pro days and all of that. He will definitely get a private invite. I'm sure about that because you get so many in-state private invites. So I'm sure he'll get a private invite for the Titans. Moving on, we have another Tennessee Vol, Ian Cole Hughes. He plays the inside linebacker spot while Bertuzzi plays the outside linebacker spot. This is a guy who's not the greatest athlete in the world. He's got some athleticism, but he's not going to run a 4.5 or a 4.6 for you. He's probably going to run more in the 4.7, 4.8 range, but he is a good football player. We see that with Deontay Burnett in camp now. We got a lot of good reports coming out from him. And if you see my last video where I got to actually talk to Ron Davenport of ESPN, he says he has Deontay Burnett making the final roster, but because of his measurables and because of his slow 40 time, he went undrafted. So there's a difference between being a good athlete and a good football player. Cole Hughes is a good football player. If I was him, I probably would stay in school for another year to kind of pad my numbers. But if he does declare, he might be a guy the Titans could target and get late in the draft. I'm talking 6th or 7th round, maybe even undrafted. Moving on to our final Tennessee Vols player, we have a wide receiver in Marquez Callaway. This guy is 6'2", 205 pounds. Very similar football player to what Corey Davis is. They're kind of built the same, but he's a hair bit smaller. Their play style's pretty similar as well. Marquez Callaway, very good route runner. He will put his nose in there and make blocks for the running back or the quarterback when he has to, so that's very good. Like I said, very solid route runner. He can contribute on special teams as well. He just doesn't have a very big body of work to kind of go on yet. Last year was kind of where he first kind of stepped out and started doing his thing. So let's keep an eye on him this year with Rashard Matthews. He's got one more. He got a 1-year contract extension. Tajay Sharp, his contract's about to be running up, so he might not be a Titan for much longer. So the Titans could look to add another wide receiver to kind of upgrade the position, someone who can contribute on special teams. And I'm not only saying he can contribute on special teams, he can change the game on special teams, like an Devine Jackson or a Dion Lewis, who is already on our roster. So that would make us very dangerous on special teams, having 3 guys who could do that. So right now, I would say he's probably a 4th rounder, but if he has a really good year, he might be able to sneak up all the way up to that 2nd round. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. Moving on to Memphis. I feel like in this draft class, the Titans are really going to start getting back to their roots. Kind of, it's going to start coming full circle around this time in the draft next year. So we're going to look at an offensive lineman. The first is Dustin Woodward. He is a guard for the University of Memphis. He has been on that offensive line for 2 of the best 3 years in Memphis school history. He does lack a little bit of size. He's only 6'2". I think he was about 280 pounds. So he does lack a little bit of size, but he has been a 4-year starter there at Memphis, been very solid for Memphis. So you're looking at a very late round guy, kind of like what Corey Levin was when he came out of the University of Chattanooga. So really want to watch Dustin Woodward. Excuse me. I was going to say Woodyard, but Woodward there. So keep an eye on him. Another offensive lineman from the University of Memphis you might want to look out for is Drew Kaiser, who is 6'5", 300 pounds. He plays a center position. He has also been on that offensive line for 2 of the best 3 years in school history. He has been very dependable, playing 2,700 of a possible 2,900 snaps. So he's been very dependable. He started 38 of the 39 games he's played in there at Memphis, and I do think the Titans could upgrade over Ben Jones. And this is another guy you could watch for late in the draft, maybe 5th, 6th, or 7th round, or possibly even undrafted. Like I said, it's too early to tell, but you really want to just, if you're looking at in-state prospects, you probably should look at that whole Memphis offensive line, because not only that, basically all of them had started for the majority of the time where Memphis was really putting up them school record numbers. So you really want to look at all of them, but I really wanted to spotlight the center there because he has the best measurables, the guard there because he was also Dustin Woodward. He was also very dependable. He played 1,700 of a possible 1,900 snaps and started 24 of the 26 games that he has played in. So definitely want to watch that offensive line there at Memphis, because I do feel like the Titans are going to come full circle here and start really trying to dominate the line of scrimmage, or looking to dominate the line of scrimmage come next offseason is where they're going to be looking at with their capital and their value when it comes to the draft and the free agency market. Moving on to MTSU, Kevin Byard's old school. Last time we took a draft pick out of there, we got a real gem in Kevin Byard, who tied the league for interceptions last year. So let's go ahead and look at an outside linebacker or an edge rusher from MTSU. Jamal Jones is going to be a late round guy the Tennessee Titans could target. He's 6'3", 257 pounds. Last year, he took over 600 snaps in the college football season, which was more than any other defensive lineman in college football. He's been a full-time starter for the last 2 years there at MTSU, but he had 33 tackles last year, which was a career high for him in college. He had 5 tackles for a loss, a sack and a half, and a pass breakup. So his numbers just aren't quite there. His measurables are good, but they're not great, I guess you could say. So you're looking at another late round guy who could possibly go undrafted that the Titans could look at adding over the next offseason. And next, we have another wide receiver and our final player on this list, Devine Jackson out of MTSU. He is 6'2", 205 pounds, just like Marquez Callaway. Last season, he had 67 catches for over 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns, which is just crazy, ridiculous numbers if you ask me. So this guy, you're looking at a 4th round pick who could possibly sneak into that 3rd round, given because he is coming from a smaller school. It's not a Division I school. It is a smaller school, and that's probably why Kevin Byard wasn't a late 1st to early 2nd round pick as well. He was also a CCC FCA first-team All-American last season. So really going to be excited to see what he does. If the Titans could come away with he or Marquez Callaway in the mid to late rounds, I would be happy with those picks. But I do look for them to really bolster their offensive or defensive line in the first couple of rounds. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you did like it. Be sure to hit the subscribe button for more great content coming in the future. Hope you guys have a great day. I'm about to get off here and watch some Tennessee Titans football. They're taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers today in the dress rehearsal game. I am recording this on a Saturday if you didn't know. So hope you guys have a great day. God bless and tighten up.